Hey guys, and welcome back to the start of a new season for Real Madrid in La Liga. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's listen to our coach, Carlo Ancelotti.
Tomorrow, La Liga kicks off for Real Madrid. The reigning La Liga champions, what do you expect from tomorrow's match? The Mallorca stadium is always a difficult ground.
Yes, that's right. Tomorrow the league starts for us, and we're excited to try and retain the title that we deservedly won last season. Matches against Mallorca have always been tough, and it will certainly be no exception, especially considering they've changed their coach, who I understand is very experienced. We'll have to fight, no doubt, and we'll do our best to win the match.
What's the team's plan, considering you'll be competing for 7 titles this season, including even the Club World Cup, which is still somewhat unclear? How do you protect your players and the entire locker room from the pressure that the media is generating to win all the titles this season? How can you deal with this?
We still don't know exactly how many tournaments we'll be playing, since 2 of these tournaments will be held in the summer, the Club World Cup and the Intercontinental Cup. These tournaments are not entirely clear yet, so we don't know how many tournaments we'll play. But what I can tell you is that we'll compete in all the tournaments that we can, and we'll play all the matches we can. No one here at the club talks about winning 6 titles or anything like that. What we do talk about are the matches we have to play, especially tomorrow's match. We're not thinking about anything else. We have to develop a game plan every 3 days because the current schedule demands it. But I can tell you that with the squad we have, we'll be able to compete in all competitions.
There's a lot of talk about the team's attacking trio. A lot of talk about Mbappe, Vinicius, but not so much about Rodrygo. What is Rodrygo's role? How much can he contribute to Real Madrid?
Of course, he contributes a lot in the matches. For example, in the other day's game, we temporarily changed to a 4-4-2 formation. So he dropped to the midfield line, and he did his job. He has to stay focused and concentrated on also doing this kind of work on the field. Honestly, he played a good game, and the data confirms that he did well, contributing both offensively and defensively to the team.
Do you plan to repeat the same lineup we saw for the European Supercup match, considering there won't be another game after this for a week? And finally, what will Bellingham's role be this season? Will he be a versatile player in the midfield, but away from the goal area?
No, I believe that Bellingham's position on the field hasn't changed compared to last year, especially at the end of the season. He played as a left-sided midfielder, and I don't plan to change his position. Sometimes he'll drop back to help with ball distribution. And other times he'll knock on them, he'll join the attack line as always. Regarding tomorrow's lineup, I still have to analyze it, so maybe I'll make some changes, but maybe I won't. It's very clear, isn't it? I think I've cleared up all doubts.
When new players join a team, they tend to set goals for themselves. Does a coach do the same when a new player joins the team, setting specific goals? What challenge does it pose for you to have new players in the team?
I'm never going to ask a player for a specific number of goals to score during the season, because that's not something I can know, and neither can the player. A lot happens during the season, but what I do ask for is that they give their all to help the team. And that's all. What I do focus on a lot is getting everyone to play as a united team. And all players must think the same way. Each player has their own qualities, whether technical or motivational, etc. And they need to use those for the team's benefit. It's that simple.
After the last match, there was a lot of talk about the new player who arrived, Kylian Mbappe, but also about the one who is no longer here, referring to Toni Kroos. I believe your team would need to go through a sporting morning for so many years of routines established by the hierarchy that the German midfielder had. Do you also agree with journalists and fans about the absence of Toni Kroos?
Well, I think the first match we played went well. We will always miss Toni Kroos because he was a very special player. But finding another Toni Kroos is impossible, so the team must adapt to a different style of play. But this is also good because if you get too used to the same style, you lose the motivation of the game. By introducing something new, the players have to think more about the game. It keeps them more focused. And this generates motivation as well.
After Mbappe's arrival to the team, there's a rumor in the media that says any result less than what was achieved last season by the team would be a failure or a disappointment. Are you worried about these exaggerated expectations about the team?
Well, all of us only think about reality, especially the players, because they are the ones who go out and play the matches. They know how difficult it is to win a match and win a title. Each match demands quality, commitment, and sacrifice. So thinking long-term isn't good for anything. We can't be thinking now about what will happen in May of next year. We just have to prepare to be ready, work every day, and try to win every match.
Several times you've said you're happy with the players you have now. Would you be happier with one more central defender?
No, the squad is set. We just have to wait about 12 more days for the transfer window to close. As I've said before, we've decided we don't need another central defender because we know that Alaba will recover soon, but also because we have young players who are ready to play too, although they won't play in every match, but these young players will play some matches with us. We were unlucky that Joan got injured, but there are other young players from the academy who are ready, like Raul and Asensio, who can help in some matches.
During the team's first match, we saw your four stars together, Vinicius, Mbappe, Rodrygo, and Bellingham. Do you think it's time to try different things with the lineup, or is it better to continue with these four players?
Yes, it's the first time Vinicius, Mbappe, Rodrygo, and Bellingham have played together, and it seems to me that they didn't have any difficulty understanding each other on the field. As I said before, quality players find each other on the field because they have that spark. They know how to move and play with quality. So it's not that I have to experiment for them to get used to playing well together. They already know how to play well together.
After winning the European Supercup, are you still celebrating the title or have you moved on with the start of La Liga?
No, we're still celebrating. This is like a honeymoon, the longest one in history, I think. The joy is still the same now, and naturally, I'm still very happy about it and everything that came before. For me, it was very difficult to imagine in 2021 when I returned to Real Madrid that I would be in this situation 3 years later, winning so many titles. No one thought this was possible, not even you in the press, because you're people of little faith.
On June 10th, Real Madrid made an official statement saying they wouldn't question their participation in the Club World Cup and that they would compete in the tournament. What has changed since then? Has the club told you anything?
No, nothing has changed. As I said before, the date for this tournament is still not set, and there's a lack of coordination in this regard. So at this moment, it's still unknown when and how it will be.
In recent years, Real Madrid has struggled to win the La Liga title 2 years in a row. Direct rivals like Barcelona and Atletico have had difficulty improving their teams compared to Real Madrid. Are you not worried that Real Madrid is a big favorite to win the La Liga title, when it has always been difficult to retain the title?
Whether we're favorites or not, we have to fight to win this league against all the teams. The quality of Spanish football is very evident, not only in how it's played in La Liga, but we've also seen how Spanish players have performed in the Euro and the Olympics recently. So it's quality football. Besides the usual competition each year against Barcelona and Atletico, a team I know has strengthened recently. We'll have to fight in every match against teams and players who are good. So it will be a fun and interesting season. And the matches that have just started have been very good, with few fouls committed and very few interruptions. In conclusion, I think everything has started well, and I trust we'll continue on this same path. The implementation of the semi-automatic offside will bring more clarity to the decisions.
You have previously talked about your players traveling for FIFA international breaks and that they need more rest. Could you explain a bit about the plan to give these players more rest? Is it possible that some players won't make intercontinental trips, or that a player might skip a match, for example, in the Spanish Cup? How can you provide individual rest for the players on your team?
For example, Vinicius travels to play with his national team in Brazil, plays 2 matches there, and then returns. Upon his return, instead of playing in the next league match, he will rest and won't play that match. He will rest for 3 or 4 days. It will be like a mini vacation. And after that, he will return to the team. This is the only way we have to solve the problem. Previously, a player who traveled and played 2 matches with his national team would return and train with the team. Even if he didn't play in the next match, he would train with us. Now that's going to change. During those 3 days, he can do whatever he wants and then return to work.